Welcome, chums, to the Mailbag episode.
Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah, we got mail. We got mail. You've got mail. I've got
You
mail.
got
We
mail.
got mail. We got a ton. Some of these
You've
go back
got
a ways. Some of these go back a ways. Because obviously some of them are responding to stuff, and then we had quite a bit of time where we didn't do a mailbag. And there's a whole bunch of stuff going back here. These are all ones that I've read and thought were pretty good. I mean, you know, we'll do a bit of catching up.
Clear
Go
the
for
bag. Empty the bag.
So way back, this email's from April. I made a comment about Steven Spielberg and how I think he hates British people because he's always mean about us in any movie that he makes. If he can have a dig at the British, he does. Specifically the English.
I thought you were saying specifically me, you, and Sid.
No. Luckily not. So this is from So Late Moths. Well said, sir. Although a large percentage of actors in his World War II series are British or Irish, his attitude towards historical accuracy is a bit much. Although it's not Spielberg, U-57-1 is a film is a crime. The US supposedly capture an Enigma machine in a farcical Yankee bollocks story. I don't know if you've seen this one, but this is quite common. I think for American movies to think, look, we have to put American actors in and change the story to be about America, or Americans won't care. So U-571 was a U-boat that had an Enigma machine on, and it was a British operation to capture it and get it off the sub. And that's how we ended up with one of the Enigma machines that we had. I think Polish might have nicked one as well. But essentially, they changed it to be, I think it was Matthew McConaughey, if anyone's seen it. In reality, it was a squadron of British ships that captured a surface ship of a U-boat Wolfpack. No US involvement. It caused the evolution of operations like Operation Mincemeat, etc. Mincemeat. My mum and dad had experiences of the relationships between US and British forces during World War II. And the feeling was the supposed special relationship was somewhat betrayed by the Americans not entering the war. I'm wondering if Spielberg has a guilty conscience when it comes to America and the war and wants to gloss over the fact that we were on our own for some time, us and I guess the French, the Polish, what was left of them. So I understand.
Yeah,
good shout.
I think war, like heroic war movies, are still very popular in everywhere probably, but in America as well. So I think they're a bit liberal with the facts just to make it, you know, more entertaining for American audiences. Probably, I think. Like,
do we really think that American audiences will go like, "Oh, I don't understand what's happening"? Well, with an American accent, if there's not American people on screen, that they will be like, "Oh, I don't want to see that." I haven't got any Americans.
I don't think they're in my experience, they're not super open to other cultures. They just kind of think it's our way or the highway sort of thing. So yeah, I think they probably would. They watched a movie and it was just filled with British people.
But I also think it's
ironic, really. All the actors
it's what people think they would, though. I think it's more that it's not necessarily that they are. It's more that they're perceived to be. And so as a result, when you make your movie, you want it to sell as much as possible. Everything is driven by profits, right? Sadly, it's not. No one's thinking, oh, you know, we're going to offend the Brits if we make our, you know, tell this really cool story about World War II, but we just make it an American submarine instead. You know, it's like we don't want to have to get a load of British actors in. Maybe there is a little. I think there is a little bit of anti-British sentiment still in the US. You know, it goes along the lines of the same as the war of independence and the, you know.
Yeah, they'll be anti, but then they'll also be the sort of stereotypical view of the British in North America as well, which is, you know, what you see on The Simpsons, basically, you know. Weirdos with like mangled teeth and
but we can't complain
bad
too
guys
much.
Just lots of bad guys in top hats.
There's
and
a lot
stuff,
of
you know?
Groups of people who've had it way worse from The Simpsons over the years, you know.
Sure, yeah,
like Indians and I don't know, you know, basically every other race of people has been mocked relentlessly way worse than the Brits have.
It's probably a lot different now because I think like other cultures are a lot more accessible through the internet and stuff like that. But I remember when I was growing up, British culture was not something that we knew anything about. We weren't. It was not featured in anything. Occasionally, you know, on like PBS or some, you know, some random TV station, they would show a British show, and they were always odd. You know, like I didn't understand. I had no context for the culture, so I didn't understand what was happening. Stuff like I remember being a kid and seeing PBS used to show Coronation Street and EastEnders every once in a while. And I thought I was on drugs. Like, I just couldn't believe how weird these shows were, how weird the people were and everything. It is a bit of a culture shock, or it was back then. Maybe not so much now, but
there's interesting Venn diagrams that overlap each other. Like, we used to watch the Australian soaps. They were very popular over here. And I think
Neighbours
certain things, certain exports.
The Littlest Hobo.
We've always had like exports that have been very popular. So like British Bake Off has been, huge overseas. And I think like certain stuff doesn't cross the Atlantic and do well, other stuff does. But also America's so diverse. Oh my God. Yeah. It's like New England couldn't be more different to Texas, they're more, it's more than one.
It is, but they're a cultural powerhouse as well, aren't they? Like their cultural exports are insane across the world, right? Like they're brands and everything else. So I think when you're in America, it's really easy to just be enveloped by all this stuff and not ever have to think about anything else. You just got all these things that are American. You've got all this TV that's American, and it is really easy to just live in that big bubble, I think, and not ever really need to look out. And obviously people do, but there are equally a lot of people who don't. Like they'll just quite happily not venture out of that. They'll just exist in there.
There has been this very lazy Hollywood approach to British characters as well, with British accents for quite a while, certainly in the 80s, 90s. I don't know whether it was just they just didn't. There's a British act that do you see what I'm doing with like Daphne on Frasier or like other people
English.
on Friends.
She was.
I know, but the accent just was nonsense.
No, she's from Manchester. That's her accent.
She didn't sound anything like an English person, though. Did she?
She didn't sound Liam Gallagher enough for you?
No, I'm pretty sure that was just her voice, because the actress is British. She was
British.
She's British. All right, let's move on. Anyway, we could do this all day. And this is a mailbag, and I want to read this one from Scott. Hi. My name is Scott. I'm an invasive cardiac physiologist.
Nice.
God. How many burpectomies have you given this week?
He hasn't done any. This is cardiology, not...
It's nearby, though. While you're working on the heart, you can sort out the burps, right?
You could. A lesser-known job. However, we play a key role in the investigation, diagnosis, and treatment of cardiac disorders. I spend a lot of my time in the cath lab, a room used for a multitude of heart-related procedures. These include coronary artery stenting, pacemaker implantation, and, of course, cardiac ablations. In our cath lab, for the enjoyment of ourselves and hopefully the patient, depending on the playlist, of course, we have a small speaker in which we put some music to play in the background of the procedure. This particularly embarrassing story happened to me when I'd been called into the cath lab to relieve a co-worker. Upon entering, I was informed by my colleague was in charge of the music today, and as they left, they needed me to provide the bangers. Not a problem. I have a special playlist
I know
with
where
music,
this is going.
hard not to like, and of course no explicit language.
We got an emergency burpectomy needed over here. Quick, we got a burp crisis. No, sorry, I know where this. I can tell you where this is going. They accidentally put the Triforce podcast on, and it played at a time when you were talking about your
do you want me to read Scott's email or not?
Go for it. No, you carry on.
I get it. You guessed the ending. Possibly. But Scott took the time to write this email, and I'm going to take the time to read it.
Case closed.
Maybe you should have been less predictable in your email crafting.
No, sorry, Scott. Lewis doesn't want to hear your email, mate. Sorry, bud. Moving on.
Boring. Go on, no. Tell me what happened. Tell me what happened.
This is called White Knighting Bradley Walsh.
Oh, my God.
Hope you're all well. First time mailer.
Who is Bradley Walsh?
He's a TV presenter.
Yes.
Wait,
he did Fanny Schmeller.
You what?
Fanny Schmeller.
Okay.
Google.
We're done.
She's an Austrian skier.
We're wrapping it up. We're wrapping up now. 10 minutes. It's a 10-minute mailbag. I don't know what you're talking about.
There you go. It's this.
Okay. Oh yeah, Bradley Walsh. He's got a son called Teddy Walsh, I think.
No way.
Who is also getting into the TV hosting arena.
Is that true?
I don't know. If his name is
he's
Teddy.
got another son called Carl.
Carl Walsh. Sorry.
So stupid.
White Knighting Bradley Walsh. Hope you're well. First time mailer, and I'm still not entirely sure why I'm writing this, but I feel Bradley got a bit of a bad rep in the Christmas quiz episode. Look, I'm not saying he's amazing. Bruce, game quiz hosting peaked with the original Crystal Maze. Bruce Forsyth deserves his shout out too, but I feel he's definitely the best of a bad bunch. Not that there's much competition, as modern game quiz show television is dog water, but I do think The Chase is some of the most bearable daytime TV.
Yeah, Chase is pretty good, actually.
Ben Shepherd on Tipping Point would put me to sleep, and I'm convinced they get the dumbest people to go on that show. And don't get me started on modern catchphrase with Stephen Mulhern. I'd rather guide my father into my mother than watch him present it. Right. So, who would you guys consider the creme de la creme of quiz, game, or even talk show hosts, past or present?
I like that guy. Is it Alexander Arnold who does Pointless?
Yeah, he's good.
He's really good. For me, he's
was
the
a
ultimate
comedian before. Right?
He's very funny.
That counts a lot.
He does. He's a regular feature on Have I Got News for You, and I enjoy him on that. And he also does some voices for Hey Dougie.
Yeah.
The CBeebies show.
Yeah. My all-time favorite is Les Dawson. Les Dawson, blankety blank. That was the
heck? How old is that reference?
That was from the 70s and 80s. Let me tell you something. He was the first game show host I've ever seen on a game show make fun of the show and the prizes and the guests and himself and just how shit everything was all at the same time. He was absolutely the best. Like, he was so far ahead of his time. I thought Les Dawson was fucking hilarious. Yes, he did do a few of the old 70s mother-in-law jokes, but Les Dawson, blankety blank, you look up some of it, it was really funny because the prizes were so shit. This was
not as
Kelly
funny as Michael McIntyre's The Wheel.
Much funnier than Michael McIntyre's
Holy shit.
The Wheel.
Okay, I mean,
when that show comes on, I wish that I was never born. I wish that I would evaporate.
You wish that you were
I wish
on
I
the
would
wheel.
disintegrate. Yeah.
The wheel used to be one of the worst torture devices, I'm pretty sure. So
it still is.
They are correct.
It's just
the
prime time torture now, yeah.
It is. Yeah.
Saturday night torture.
Pretty gruesome. I think there was a golden age, you're absolutely right, with Noel Edmonds and
Noel Edmonds on
and...
Deal or No Deal is another one. That fucking show is so fucking stupid and weird. Yeah. I don't know what they do to the contestants on that show. Why are they so weirdly chummy with each other and stuff? It's odd. And Noel Edmonds is fucking creepy. Odd as well.
He is odd.
He's a relic and not a nice one either. Like, I wish he would fuck off.
Yeah, do you know what? You're absolutely right. Maybe Bradley Walsh is actually the best thing that we've got, which I guess does show that
he's like the vanilla ice cream of game show.
Yeah,
hosts.
He's solid though. I guess he's kept it up because I guess we've got who else have we got now? Even like Clarkson is doing Millionaire. I only know that because
you got Ramesh is doing Weakest Link. He's replaced Anne Robinson. Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I never really liked Ramesh much, obviously.
I like Ramesh.
Ramesh Ranganathan.
Oh my god, man! He's a big hip hop head as well. His radio show on Saturdays. He's on really good.
Everything. Like,
why not?
I get it's too much Ramesh. Like, you literally cannot watch a show that's either about travel or visiting countries or doing goofy stuff. He's on everything. I get it. While you're hot, make the moolah. I completely agree with his approach. It's like, well, while I'm being offered the work, I'll take it. He's obviously a workaholic. Go for it. Good on you. But fuck me, it's a lot.
I just think he doesn't want to stay at home with his 3 kids. So he complains about them all the time.
Yeah. I just think he's doing too much. He's on bloody everything.
Yeah.
Also, we've been watching Taskmaster. Mrs. F's been watching it because it's all on Netflix.
Great.
So a great show, but there is a big problem, which is that if the cast isn't great, you're stuck with a whole series with those people. And they're just
but the thing
funny.
is, there's like 4 series a year, so you're never that stuck. There's
the
loads
current
of
series is like it's got Victoria Coronan, so immediately I'm not enjoying it. And then it's like there's no one else. I don't like Alan Davis. I can't stand him either. So it's just bad. And then the James Acaster season was really good, so you just kind of want more of that. And the Bob Mortimer was great, but sometimes they just don't have anyone on that I like, and it's a rough watch.
I kind of low-key agree with you on this.
But I think it's fine. It's the kind of show where the format doesn't change much, so you can just skip a series.
And also, they kind of have gone through the who's who of British panel shows and comedy shows, right? They've just gone through literally anyone who's anyone. They're running out. They've done 18 seasons of it.
Yeah.
They have to have different people in every.
They need
time.
to do an all-star one. They need to do like a winners, bring all the winners back for one, or maybe
They
they've
need to
done
just
it already.
start repeat customers. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's fine because I think the tasks vary, right? Like you get some repeats, but they're usually pretty good. So
I guess
think
you're completely right about it relying on the cast, but that's it's still a great show. Really, really amazing show. Taskmaster, love it.
Castmaster.
I suppose that is the modern daytime TV quiz type show, right? The takeover of the idea.
I like it. So really, it's quirky. Apparently the American one was not very popular, but
Is that true?
The British one seems to be very popular. And popular as an export as well.
Does not translate. Maybe.
Yeah, it's really weird. Yeah, but there you go. I watched the Traitors season 2, the US one. It's been on iPlayer, and it was actually really good. I didn't think I would like it, but in the US they've got an industry of these like sort of reality game shows like Survivor and The Challenge, and there's a bunch of them where they've been going on for so long and they've done so many seasons, and where they have like these sort of all-star seasons, and they bring back people have won, Survivor 2-3 times or whatever. So like most of the contestants were from these other game shows. So it was kind of interesting. It'd be like a celebrity version, but it's all people who are like known to game these games. So it was kind of interesting to see them figure it out and stuff. It was actually really good, but like different to watching the UK ones, which is just random people hoping for the best.
So the American Taskmaster pruned it down to 30 minutes. Right? They changed they made a load of changes to the format, and the contestants were. Do you want to hear? Dylan Francis, aka DJ Hansel. No. Anyone?
No.
Kate Berlant. Okay.
Maybe they're big in America. I mean,
they probably
Ron
are.
Funches.
These are made up names now. I mean, look,
Lisa
I'm not being funny,
Lampanelli.
but Ramesh Ranganathan, or I can often get his last name wrong.
Yeah,
I'm sure if he
right.
was on, Americans would be like, I don't know who that is.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
He tried to. They're going to be like, I don't know who that is.
He tried to do some stuff in America, and it just didn't. There was like I remember seeing there's like an interview with him, or he talked about it at one point, but he tried to go to America. He was doing well in the UK, and he thought, now's my chance. I'm going to go over to America and break America. And he said it was miserable. Like, nobody knew who he was. Nobody thought he was funny. Nobody wanted to listen to anything he had to say or whatever.
I mean, this shit happens all the time.
Yeah, but British comedy, like, you can be a British comedian, come up and be quite low-key. A lot of American comedians, like, I watch a lot of stand-up, and I watch a lot of stuff on TikTok. American comedians are expected to be kind of larger than life.
Yeah. Quite
big voices that are like, this guy in the front row, what are you doing? Where are you from, sir? Like that. And British comedians that come out, they're quite self-deprecating and quite low-key, because a lot of British people are like that. Americans like to be entertained by loud, flashy things.
Yeah. I think North America, there is a component to like the sense of humor there where it's just yelling is funny.
It's loud, very loud.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on. This is quite a funny. This is from Brian. I wanted to ask if you made a trip to LA sometime in the past week. I work event security for a local venue, and I swear I saw you shirtless and sweaty near the front row of the ongoing Madonna concert.
That was me.
That was not me. I wanted to say hi, but your somewhat violent hip gyrations put me off. Nevertheless, I hope you thoroughly enjoyed the experience.
You got me.
Have you or any of the lads
would spot me there? But...
Right, it was my secret gig. Have you or any of the lads had unforgettable, good or bad, concert or performance experiences in the past? So trying to think of, I went to a gig one time. I've been to quite a few gigs where I didn't know the band going in, but I went with my mate, my best mate, who I go to gigs with quite often, or used to, not as much now with the family and everything. But we used to go to gigs and he'd be like, this band is cool, do you want to see them? I was like, yeah, sure. So we'd just go. And sometimes it was great, and sometimes it was a band we both loved, and sometimes it was a band that he loved, and it turned out I hated. And there was this one time went to see this band called Flotation Toy Warning. All right. So real little unknown indie band. I say unknown, obviously on the indie scene, a lot of people may have known them, but the point is, relatively speaking, unknown. And They were the biggest load of wank. I hated them, and I hated the lead singer. He had this smug fucking air about him that was just insufferable. That was the second worst gig I've ever been to. The worst gig was some guy who'd used to be in The Fall, legendary UK indie band, John Peel's favorite band, I think. He had his own band, and he looked like one of the Rolling Stones. That was kind of how he modeled himself, with the glasses and the hair and everything like that. And he stood there. He had about 10 people on stage. It was just noise. And at one point, he played a violin with a power drill. Like he had an electric violin. He just ran a power drill up and down it. Right. Stone-faced, looking straight ahead at the crowd. And I thought, this is not music. At this point, this is just a performance art of look what you fucking idiots will pay money to watch. I'm not even enjoying myself. None of you are enjoying yourselves. This is awful. And that was the worst fucking gig I've ever been to, by far.
The worst gig I've ever been to was Weird Al Yankovic at BlizzCon. Oh, my God. That was just awful. God, it was so bad. And I don't mind Weird Al. Like, as a kid, I was a Weird Al enjoyer. I liked, UHF, and I liked Al music when he took over Much Music. And, some of his albums I got when I was a kid, and I liked them or whatever. But the show was just, I think that's one of the only things I can think of where I went into it thinking I would enjoy it, but then forgot that I wasn't 10 anymore, Like it just,
I see.
It was just not
the
good
whole
at all.
thing was just not. Did you realize you'd grown up and he hadn't, or like was his
I don't
performance
know.
just like lackluster?
Just the whole thing was I just really I can't remember what I was thinking, but I just remember my brain really wanting to get out of there,
not be there.
Yeah.
No, I think a lot of people were like that. It did feel like with some bands, like you can just bring them in front of a random crowd of people at BlizzCon and be like, yeah, they can go for it. Like Tenacious D, I guess they were good at BlizzCon. But some, like Weird Al, I feel like you have to be a Weird Al fan and buy tickets to his thing.
I saw Muse and Metallica at BlizzCon, but it's weird at BlizzCon because you're not there for... You know they're going to be on, but that's not why you're there. So you're just like not... For me anyway, I'm not... in going to a show mode here, like I've just been nerding out on Warcraft all day. Well, and now I'm tired. It's weird.
There's a great example of this, right, where they did the thing where they announced the Diablo on phones, right, or whatever.
Yeah.
And it was the wrong audience to announce it to. The people who come to BlizzCon have to pay quite a lot of money.
Oh yeah, it's older, not cheap. It's super expensive. Yeah.
And they're also, most of the people at BlizzCon are there for Blizzard's biggest games. Which is usually, well, it was at the time where you were going, World of Warcraft, right?
Yeah.
And yes, Blizzard had other games, but you got like very few of the people were coming to BlizzCon because they were Diablo fans, right? Or whatever. And so when you set up this musical act on stage, you've got to consider who the fuck is actually here. And I think a lot of people would have felt the same about Weird Al. I think it was a weird choice. But I can understand why it was a choice, because they were like, well, we got to get some huge musical act to play. Who is it? Who he's in the nerdy sphere, right? Weird Al, that should work. And I think actually probably a lot of people did enjoy it. I don't think I minded it. Because I knew who he was.
I did mind it.
And I knew that he did like weird parody songs.
Yeah.
But I don't think I really enjoyed it.
No.
And then again, I don't know if I really enjoy any of the gigs I've been to. I find them a bit stressful. Like, I like listening to music.
Yeah.
And I think listening to it live is almost always worse. In that you're in this weird physical experience with people jostling you and shoving you, and it's like the floor's sticky and it's like kind of gross in there, and you can't really see what's going on at the front unless you bring your glasses, which you don't really want to do when people are jostling you around, and then you've got like, I'm quite short, which doesn't help. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so and they're miles away, and it doesn't sound like the songs that you've listened to loads of times. I guess, like, to me, going to gigs and going to, like, Duncan loves going to Glastonbury every year, and I'm just like, I went to a V festival when I was, at school. Do you know what I mean? And I was just like very underwhelmed by the whole experience. I was like, why the fuck would I want to do this? Like, and I realize it's not for the music, it's for the camping out with your friends and smoking weed. And
that's it.
Doing all this other shit, right?
Festivals for sure, yeah.
Yeah, like, and it's about that atmosphere. And I know there are some really fucking interesting and funny things that go on. And it's like, oh, actually, and Duncan always says to me, oh, well, these acts were shit, but these were really, really good. And I guess, like, I've I've never really been lucky enough to go to really, really good ones.
Yeah.
Like, actually, though, I will say I went to see The Longest Johns at Bristol, and that was really good. You know, everyone was singing along.
Yeah.
They were like, it was actually quite impressive.
They do the
how
pirate,
they could, like,
pirate shanties, right?
Yeah, it was really impressive how they could, like, just with like 3 or 4 voices and a drum, they can fill the whole space with, like, you know, really cool songs that got everyone going.
Like the B sharps, yeah.
I don't know, and also like, and it was also nice to support my friends, I guess, too, right? So I had all these extra things that made it really good. Yeah, all right, that's all I got to say.
For me, most memorable show I've ever been to probably was Wesley Willis, which was just bizarre. But
we've talked about him in previous episodes.
We talked about him like before. He's the guy who does suck a cheetah's dick and suck Batman's ass and those, you know, like with the keyboard.
Yes.
And I think honestly, the like most sort of like the craziest show I've ever been to was Andrew WK. That was insane. I felt like my head was going to explode like the entire time. It was just like the energy levels were just higher than anything I've ever experienced. But for me, the best show that I've ever been to, and the one that like meant the most to me to go to and everything, was Ghostface in Bristol. My God, that was the best. I love that so much. I just thought that it was perfect. And then I got to also say hi to Ghostface at the end too, which was really good. So there you go.
That was great. That was a great gig.
It was really fun.
That was great. I remember when we were at school, we would go. My friend was into like emo indie bands, right? And we would go sometimes to watch these really fucking tiny niche bands in London. And we didn't really know what we were doing. You know, we were obviously like 16, and we would get the train into London. And one of them was a band I remember. It's called the Appleseed Cast, right? And it was playing in this pub. Have you seen fucking Baby Reindeer? You know how he's doing those comedy gigs in pubs to like literally 3 people? This was what it was like. It was a pub in like a really gross pub in like it was in like a London suburb, and it was just like, and we sort of turned up a bit late, and they'd already started, and they were just, it was like they hadn't even moved the tables, you know, for this band to play, kind of thing. And they had, you know, like they'd set up a few CDs on a table, hopefully to sell them, you know.
Yeah.
But we'd obviously already bought them. I don't know where we got them from, or we couldn't afford them, or whatever, right? And it was just sort of really sad. And then we went to some other gigs in London that were, again, these really weird little niche emo bands, and it was just an absolute fucking mosh pit, crazy, elbows flying, you know, terrifying experience.
I did go to a gig like that when I was a little too old to go to a gig like that. So it was a band that me and my mate liked. We went to the gig. We didn't realize they had like a 18, 19, 20-year-old demographic that also loved them. And when they played, it was fucking chaos. There were like a couple of songs that obviously that all these young lads fucking loved. And as soon as they started playing, they rushed the stage. They invaded the stage. People were throwing themselves off it. The singer was going mad. I was like, this is insane. I was way too old, and I was so glad to be near the back. It was really to watch it from afar was interesting, but to be in there, I was like, fuck it, I would be out for a month if I went in there.
Yeah,
but I mean, my experience is that like these crazy mosh pits when I was younger was like, because I was, it kind of scared me off gigs for a long time, and I went to Dragon Force, and it was like the most chilled gig I've ever been to, and I was like, oh, this is really nice actually. I get to just like,
you'd expect a Dragon Force show to be like a bit nuts, but yeah, I can see at the same time
super grown up. But the same with Ghostface Killer, everyone was just like super grown up.
Yeah, it was all dads wearing Wu-Tang shirts. T-shirts.
It was really fun.
I loved it though. I just thought everything about it was just so great. Like I think I had permanent damage done to my ears from that show. Like my ears have never been the same since. It was so loud. Like, it was so insanely loud.
Was done when I was a teenager, so I had it since.
Hey?
Oh.
I do that every day to Mrs. Oh my goodness. Every time anyone makes a comment about loss of hearing, I say, huh? And they always start repeating themselves. It's the classic dad play.
Yeah, it is a classic dad play.
All right, this one is in reference to something that we spoke about a while ago. This is from March, but this is a good email. This is from Jason, a structural engineer, an Argentine tango instructor from Australia.
This fucking guy. Jesus Christ.
So
Shut
this
the
is-
fuck up.
You
Stop
jealous,
hogging all the
Lewis?
cool stuff. Yeah, I am.
This is
God.
a topic we talked about.
He's crushing that.
Rules
bus.
and regulations made due to accidents and issues. That's something I talked about. Okay, so here are some examples of stuff, building codes and regulations and stuff that you don't notice day to day, that architects and structural engineers have to put there for these reasons. Number one, handrails. They have a minimum and maximum dimension, height and distance to an adjacent wall. Ensure people can wrap their hands around them. They have to be folded on the end so you don't skew yourself if you fall on them. Safety signage looks obvious, but when you fall, everybody will see you as the idiot that didn't hold the handrails. Anti-slip tape on landings and goings of stairs, the horizontal parts. You'll notice these are when there are not there during the rainy weather, stairs become pretty scary. Head heights and spatials. You'll realize this only when you suddenly think, whoa, I could hit my head on the door, or when somebody with a disability struggles to navigate. Spatials in car parks are similar. If you ever think, this area is a waste of space, think again. It could even be for emergency maintenance or fire trucks. Frosting on tall glass panes. You'll only value this when you embarrassingly run into glass because you were looking at your phone. Privacy. The shape of building elements, e.g. weird sticking out bits, are like how random crap is placed in video games to restrict sniper line of sight. It's to
Whoa.
avoid obvious public view. Humps when entering
Okay.
a basement driveways. If you ever think, why is this stupid hump here? It's to prevent flooding and overloading the internal pumping system.
Yeah, absolutely.
Deflection limits. It's for fit for use, aka serviceability, to avoid users feeling uneasy. Lots of light open steel structures are deflection governed, so you don't look like it'll top over in extreme winds. Interesting. Stair and ladder angles. In Australia, ideally stairs between 30 to 38 degrees, ladders 70 to 75 degrees, and between 38 and 60 degrees is considered unsafe by code. So it's all these
Wow.
codes and stuff
Yeah.
that you just don't understand. But this is the one I really like. If something is obviously stupid and you have to think, why is it like that? 9 times out of 10, there is a reason that you just aren't aware of.
Yeah, of course.
For example, why is there a lazy worker sitting and smoking at the front of the construction site? Because the other day, some idiot member of the public decided to be curious and walk straight in, probably saying, I'm just having a look. What's the problem with that? So all of these things where you think, oh man, they don't know what they're doing. What a waste of time. Why'd they put this here? Why'd they put there? There's a good reason. You're not a structural engineer, so that's why you don't know. Interesting.
We're
That
funny.
is
We're funny
actually-
people, like as people though,
Cool.
because we'll see people doing something that they've trained really hard to do and really trained really hard to do well. But we still think that we can wade in and judge them and say that we could do better. Like that is like such a human thing, isn't it? Like with sports, competition, like all sorts of stuff, right? It happens all over the place. And I guess this stuff is no different, you know, like you see something and you just feel like you have to comment on it, knowing nothing about it. But I don't know why we feel like we have to do that. I don't know who we think that we're fooling either. What if you're with somebody who knows why this is happening and they just think you're a fucking idiot now for even opening your mouth in the first place? Like you don't even consider it. You're just like,
we're 300 episodes in and it hasn't stopped us.
True.
I think I always say there's this idea that as you get older, you just think you should know more. Right? And you think, well, God, I'm 60. If I don't know now.
God, I find that older I get, the more I realize I know fucking nothing. Like I was much more confident when I was like 20 and I thought I knew everything. But now, I feel like I don't know shit and I'm like second guessing myself all the time. Like even stuff that I absolutely know for sure 100%, I'll still say I think or possibly, you know, like it. I never like even fully commit now. Like I'm so beaten down by life, you know.
That's good to be that way, though. It's not if you want to be a leader of men, because people want to follow confidence, but it's good that actually people do respect someone who considers their choices.
Yeah.
All right. This is a quick question for you guys. This next one. Okay. This is more of a philosophical discussion, I suppose.
Good grief.
What is one good thing humans have done for the world, and not human society, but the natural world, that wasn't something caused by us in the first place? For example, sea cucumbers, right? The humble sea cucumber filters ocean water and makes it cleaner. Or bees make honey, but in the process, they also pollinate flowers and help flowers and stuff like that. So what have humans done by our existence to the benefit of the natural world?
With that, we're not talking about helping other humans out with
No,
this.
we're nothing to do with humans. The natural world. So when we say the natural world, we always remove ourselves from it. I think because we know that most human sort of society and progress is unnatural. I mean, buildings and cars and planes and the way we farm and everything is not natural. We're not just foragers. We're changing, and we have changed and continue to change the world to suit us at the detriment of everything else on it. So I suppose the question is, what have we done just by existing that has been to the benefit of the world in much the same way that bees happen to help pollinate flowers?
I think this could be a very depressing question, in that we clearly have left an indelible mark on this planet from being here, and polluted and fucked up large areas of the planet. Humans tend to take from Earth as if it is infinite, and have in many ways because we didn't know any better back in the day, and even today, the idea that God will replenish or fix things. I think from a purely ecological point of view, I think man has been a disaster, from fucking mining oil to nuclear testing. God, it's like, you name it, it feels bad, right? But at the same time, we were way worse, and we are moving in a direction that is way better. There is a lot less. Now we are actually aware of how we're impacting the planet. There is the direction has been entirely positive. Especially with things like the ozone layer getting fixed, and not setting off nukes all the time, and trying to phase out fossil fuels, even though it's a struggle. I think that it is hard and scary to think that these things and also it's really horrible to think all the terrible things we've done, but it's not as bad as it was, and it is in a direction where it will be more sustainable. At the end of the day, we can't just delete humans off the planet and put it back to how it was. So working towards a way to fix it is better. I think from a point of view of what have we given to the planet, I think it's hard to say. Like, we've gone into space. Like, I think that's a really impressive thing that we've done. We've left a legacy beyond the planet.
That's not the planet. That's purely selfish.
I think in a roundabout way, it will benefit the planet because it means that one day we might leave.
Exactly, right? And also aliens who are way more cool than us might come along and put the planet back to normal, right?
Yeah.
There's actually a chance of that.
There's a magical
Why would they do that?
There's a chance of that. There's more of a chance of
magical
coming down
dildo
and being like, magic it back to normal. Like,
you're basically replacing God with aliens and assume that they'll just be like, we'll fix your planet, simple humans. Why would they do that?
Exactly. Well, in millions of years, once we're dead, they're not coming around next week, is what I'm saying. But maybe we should.
They're never coming.
They're not fixing it.
Well, not in your lifetime.
They're sitting in their battle cruiser saying, Zark, invade.
Don't even invade, Zark, eradicate.
Nuke them.
Go on. Have we got any good things that we've done for the planet? Can you think of anything?
I can think of a handful.
Okay.
They are very indirect, in much the same way that the bees don't know they're pollinating flowers. It's just a consequential. I think we have helped the population of very specific life forms by dint of our waste and our gluttony.
Well, rats, you mean?
Rats, cockroaches.
I mean, the natural world must be so pleased that we exist because all the rats they've left everywhere else and they just live in sewers in the shitty parts of cities that nothing else lives in.
All that stuff that we've built, that those animals prosper in, pigeons, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Not pigeons. They're actually, I think they're
seagulls.
Rock doves. They're loving it. Seagulls are loving it. Like, any carrion feeder, any waste feeder, fucking loves human beings.
Yeah,
for the fact that we just chuck shit around.
Or is grateful to them,
and they're
in some way.
Perfectly happy to live in our shitty urban environments because they're like, we don't care. We just want to go where the food is, and luckily, our food happens to be half a burger you didn't want to finish. We're fucking all over that. Thank you so much. People dropping food all over the floor, all the little ants that live in the cracks in the pavement in New York City, they're all about that. I think we have assisted carrion feeders and waste feeders. They love us.
Yeah, they must.
I think everything else fucking hates us.
Anything else?
Oh, algae. I think the pollution that we put in the world has caused algae to bloom.
Let's have a fucking shout out to algae.
Oh my God!
now.
You see on
They're shouting us out
on the news the other night? They've got like a huge outbreak of it in, I think it's Northern Ireland.
Algae
in,
is having a fucking whale of a
their
time.
primary drinking water source is just like full of this stuff. It's just
loving it.
Fucking
also
critical.
viruses and diseases that are only contractable by human beings.
Viruses
Golden
and diseases.
Age. Golden age.
They
for
love
them.
that. They love us.
It's a golden AIDS.
Yeah, it's a golden AIDS. All right. This is from Phil.
I got lots of really important friends in the virus and bacteria community. They love me out there.
This is Phil and his mates
Fucking
produced a
hell.
list. S star tier down to F tier.
For what?
And just things. They're just ranking things.
Anything.
Things.
And you guys tell me if you think these are in the correct category.
Right, okay.
And
Wait,
this is-
hang on. What the fuck? It's just random
anything.
things.
It's just stuff.
Okay.
All right.
Where do we start? Should we start with the bottom
I'm going to
tier?
start at the bottom. All right.
Right.
The only
D tier.
thing on this list. No, this is F. The only
F
thing on this
tier.
list that goes down as far as F tier.
Oh, hang
is-
on. Let's just think. What is the worst thing, Sips?
Just thing.
This podcast.
And this is no, exactly. That would be
The
G tier.
Triforce podcast.
Get there.
What?
But all I'm saying is that this is not like a definitive. It's not like death. You know what I mean? Death is
Right.
not on there. Like disease, war.
It's like one
F-
step away.
F is two-factor authentication. Two-factor authentication.
Two-factor authentication is an F tier.
F tier.
Oh, I disagree
no,
with that.
It's not. I disagree.
All right. E
Completely.
tier is customs, like at the airport, having to go through customs.
I would
And
put that in
paper
F.
straws.
I would put that in F tier.
Customs
yes.
can go into F.
Paper straws. That's E tier as well, apparently.
Paper straws are
Paper-
fucking shit.
Paper straws, I don't give a shit about, honestly.
D tier.
I
Oh,
wouldn't put them
well,
in any tier. I
hate
just
them.
don't even
I'm
think
putting
about
them.
them.
I'm putting them in E.
All right. D tier. TK Maxx vouchers.
I think if you're an adult and you're drinking with a straw, you should be in F tier, honestly.
Well, also, like, well, it's for your teeth. You know, you got to keep your fancy
Yeah,
ears
just
clean,
fucking
haven't
drink
you?
water or
Animals.
something. Like, why? I don't know
That's why your teeth
people
are so
complain
fucking
about-
brown, bitch.
I don't know why people complain about straws so much.
Mobile phone charger cables. Earmuffs.
They are D tier. You're right.
Birthday
Earmuffs fucking
cards.
garbage.
Birthday
Couscous.
cards. Birthday
Garbage.
cards can go in F tier.
Couscous is shit.
Couscous can go in F tier.
Polystyrene.
Yes, fucking shit.
Blisters.
Blisters can go
These
in.
are all D tier.
Yeah,
These
these
are
are
all
all-
F tier for me.
This
These
is
are
great.
D.
These are
These are all
D
D,
or
apparently.
worst tier. You're
All
right.
C tier. Fire alarms.
Oh, they're D tier or E as well.
1 and 2 piece sweets. Fingerless gloves.
Fingerless
Oh yeah,
gloves
crap.
can go in F
Post
tier.
offices.
Oh,
Yeah,
no.
shit.
Hats with gloves attached.
Come on, post offices in C tier.
They might be okay in fucking Jersey, but you know, you're likely to get put in prison if you run one. Dangerous.
Okay.
Tinfoil is in C tier.
That's correct.
Also tax. They
Tax.
put tax as in income tax.
Yeah.
not like floor like carpet.
No,
tax.
not like carpet tax. No.
Okay,
Tax.
well they're probably also C tier because those things fucking suck.
Right. B. Most improved awards. Bags.
Oh.
Carbon monoxide alarms.
Okay, yeah.
Seats. I don't know why seats.
Seats.
Mugs. Yeah, seats. Mugs.
I gotta say, I don't
Handles.
think about any of these things enough to tier them. Like,
That's
Well,
why they're in B tier.
Yeah,
I guess.
Music.
Pick and mix.
Yeah, these are all in B tier. You're right.
Drive-throughs.
right.
Yep.
Velcro.
Yep.
Sandpaper.
Sure.
God, this is
It's
so
very good.
good.
It's got everything
This
in
is
it.
Arms.
such a good list.
Arms.
They're
Arms.
definitely B tier.
Moisturizer.
Yep.
And then the final 3 go nicely together. Paint, napkins, socks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
These are all like so.
Yeah.
They're B tier, aren't they?
Yeah.
I can't be happy about any of those things.
Yeah, but
Do you know what I
it's
mean?
just, it is what it is. I mean, those
Just
are like just things, right?
These are the missionary positions of things. Like, they're so,
Yeah, B
so bland.
The missionary position is B tier. Yeah.
Yeah, there
A
you go.
tier. Now we're getting into a little bit of fucking reverse cowbell.
Vanilla ice
here with
cream
A
is
tier.
probably B tier, I'd say.
All right,
as
Yeah.
well.
we got wheels, doors,
Oh, wheels.
spoons.
So are
Doors
we
are-
in A tier now?
We're
Yes,
in
these
A
are,
tier.
Right.
These are all good things. Yeah, I love
Wheels.
them.
50p's,
Okay.
50p's,
50p's.
hats,
Hats.
bowls, paper,
Yeah.
karaoke,
Yeah. Oh, well,
chocolate mini rolls, swings, custard
Swings are
creams,
not A tier. Custard creams are not A tier.
dwarfs,
Dwarfs are definitely A tier.
Penguins.
Yeah, okay.
Pokemon. Pockets.
Yes.
Bubble wrap, warm socks, photosynthesis.
Oh, okay. Photosynthesis.
This email has been Michael McIntyre's The Wheel of mailbag emails for me.
I'm loving this.
This is like a comedy set.
This is S tier. This is S tier.
Oh, here we go.
This is 4 things. I'm going to read them quickly. You can respond afterwards. Bins, tables, Tupperware, water.
Bins, tables, Tupperware, water. These are all S tier.
Apparently S tier.
Does it go higher? Does it go SS and
There's
SS?
one more thing.
Oh.
There's S star.
He's fucking slipped over and fucking cracked his head open. What are these fucking things? Bins?
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know
what was the other one?
Bins,
Herpes?
tables, Tupperware, water.
Tables, Tupperware, water.
Yeah.
Tupperware is not S tier.
Yeah, I agree.
It's C tier. Tables are probably A or B, along with doors.
Why is bins in there?
Bins is not. Bins are C tier. I mean,
bins
they're useful,
better than
but
doors, apparently.
They're annoying. And
all right, the S star is the Nintendo DS.
Okay, the best-selling
handheld console. Yeah, it's just there alone. There's nothing else in there.
It's on its own.
Right.
Okay, let's quickly write our own tier list. I want you guys to think of something.
I think this is good.
Okay, F tier. This email.
Wait.
Also in F tier, the conversation surrounding this email.
Wait.
F tier. The last 10 minutes of this podcast can go in F tier.
I'd say F tier. Nobody fucking listening. When I'm trying to come up with a very, very simple format here, we each add one thing to each tier. Can we just do that? And then everybody gets a say, and this actually is a list.
Okay.
Let's start with F. Everybody gets to add one F. You're putting dog shit. That's good.
Dog shit.
Right.
Dog shit. Lewis.
Shit from a dog's ass.
Are you putting that as well, Sips?
No, that's Lewis's. I was just...
Yeah, no, I know.
Yeah.
So what is your F?
I'm going to say seagulls.
Seagulls?
Seagulls. They are so fucking annoying.
I fucking hate them.
I'm gonna put
the noise they make wakes you up in the morning. Oh, it
really
fucks me up.
fucking grinds my gears. The reversing sound on trucks and vans.
Oh, right,
God,
that's your F tier.
Like
on the bin.
That's like a nails on chalkboards.
Yeah. All right. E.
A pet cat.
I'm putting hangovers.
I'm putting a pet cat.
You're putting a pet cat is E tier.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think like fucking worms.
Worms? As in when someone has contracted worms?
Not a video game. He's just putting video games.
I think just write worms.
Worms. I've just put worms. All right, D tier.
A pet dog for me.
A pet dog. All right, what are you putting?
I'm putting like warts.
Warts?
Warts.
Okay, that's pretty good.
Oh, wait, no, calluses. How about that? Like,
calluses.
like calluses. They're D tier, right?
All right, I'll put that. That's
some
D.
people like them because, they're like shown that you can play guitar or whatever.
Yeah,
I just
true.
think they're fucking gross.
I'm going to put bad ventriloquism.
Okay.
Really terrible.
Really annoying.
C tier.
Diapers for me.
Diapers. So useful, but also gross, right? Like that's pretty C. Yeah, I always think of C as being stuff that's mid.
I think football.
Okay, football.
Football for me.
I'm going to put people who don't like football.
No, I think football's mid. That's not,
Yeah, and I'm going to say people who don't like people that go on and on about how much they don't like football. Do you see that display last night? Hey, I know that joke. Fuck off. If you don't like it, fuck off. Just talk about something else. People who don't like football, C tier wankers. B tier. Now we're getting to stuff that's actually quite good.
So yeah, there's stuff that's like of moderate importance.
I'm going to put my mechanical keyboard. I love it.
Oh, I'm going to put Warhammer.
All right.
I'm going to put air conditioning.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, you're right. One. It is.
It's B. You can live without it, but it's it's nice. It's nice. All right, now we're into A tier.
Tits for me.
Yeah, I'll put ass.
I'm gonna put.
We have
food.
tits. We have ass. You've gone for food.
Well, just all food.
All right, fine.
Chocolate. I'm gonna change that to vegan food.
Okay.
Oh wait, we've gone for tits and ass. You've gone for vegan food.
Well,
S tier. What's S tier?
Well,
macaroni and cheese.
Mac and cheese.
Orgasms.
Oh
man.
hey, baby. I'm going to put cider. And what's S star?
That is
Jacking off.
Jerking it. I'm going to put jerk in it. All right.
Going into space.
Going into space.
I don't know.
we are actual children. Ambulances, fire trucks.
I'm going to put S tier, the Triforce Mailbag.
Oh man, good call.
That's the list.
That's funny as fuck.
That is
I'll
good.
pop it on the Discord for. There you go. You put it
Fucking hell.
Jerking it. Oh yeah, nice.
Worms.
Calluses. Who said calluses?
I don't know. I was trying to think. It's hard to categorize this shit.
Oh man, yeah, it is a tough one. Calluses.
Good email. Well, all right. This is I guess the last email. I suck at board games. This is from Luca.
Right, Luca. Don't
Me
worry
and my
about
girlfriend have a large collection of board games, over 100. We have all kinds, simple, complicated party games, etc. We've been playing and collecting for about 8 years, and we enjoy partaking in long game nights with various groups of friends we've made along the way. The problem, for me at least, is that I come in last place around 80% of the time. On some occasions, I come in second to last, and very rarely I win, and I can't explain why. I pride myself on being a good teacher of board games. I'm deep in this hobby, but still suck terribly at it. I want to ask you if you have some general board gaming advice or tactics that may help me.
I don't honestly with board games though, like maybe you're looking at it like the wrong way, because if you have a group of friends or various groups of friends that you enjoy playing board games with and you have a lot of fun and stuff, well, I wouldn't say that you're bad at board games. I think that sounds great. Like it doesn't matter that you come in last place. It's like I know it's like cliched to say, oh, it's the taking part, but it is, right? It's a social thing. You're having fun. You're doing something fun with your partner and with other people, and you're having fun. Who cares if you come in last place? You know, just be the guy who comes in last place and just keep having fun, you know? And like, you obviously know enough to play the game, but just other people are just luckier than you or slightly better technically at the game, but it doesn't matter as long as you're having fun and hanging out with your friends.
The thing is, I feel like, and I don't know if Lewis agrees with me on this, my ideal situation for any game is that in terms of ability and understanding, we're all pretty much equal. And there'll naturally be some variance because there's always a little bit of luck in games, and sometimes you just get the right draw and everything works out for you. But you want to feel going in like you have as good a chance to win as anybody else.
Yeah, I think the best...
that it's going to be a good competitive game, because that's what makes any competition fun, is that it's competitive.
Yeah.
If, for example, I was regularly part of a board game crowd and we played every Friday and I always lost, am I actually contributing anything to the playing of that game? Because nobody needs to worry about me. Well, there's no strategy required to beat me. No one is ever like, how are we going to beat Ted because he's got that good strat?
Yeah, but you might turn around and surprise somebody someday or whatever. I mean, somebody has to lose. Like that's no matter.
Right, but you don't want it to always be you.
You don't want it to be always you, but I think the kinds of games that you're playing matter as well, because the best games give you the sense that you have a chance to win all throughout.
Right, but this lad never does.
Well,
that's the point.
I don't know.
Okay, so these days, modern games are based on the Euro idea that you don't know who is winning till the end.
Yeah.
Right. The whole point is it's about the journey. It's about journey before destination. You know, it's oftentimes the game end and working out who won is the last 5 minutes of your 3-hour gaming session. Yeah. Right. Like. And as a result, the bulk of the experience, it kind of doesn't matter who won, and no one often remembers who won, because you'll come back next week and you'll be like, oh, who won last time? Because it's almost not a thing.
Is the answer.
Now, however, some games that I don't think are as good, such as, I don't know, Catan.
Do you think Ben was born with the ability to win, or do you think he developed his ability to win over time with experience?
He plays a lot of games, but Ben is also very good at making quite quick, accurate, strategic and tactical decisions about the game he's playing. Having played a lot of games with him, he's very good at that. He also understands games and how to win.
Yeah, but he sucks at arm wrestling, so what do you want?
Certain people get different pleasures out of games, right? Some people like to lean into a strategy and collect all things. I'm actually very similar to this guy in that when I'm playing board games, I often don't win because I'm picking things that are fun or funny instead of the things that are necessarily the best, right? I'm like, well, I've got all these blue things. This blue thing works with the other blue things. I'm just going to pick that, right? And then that's, the games encourage you to do that, right? And lean in. And I think sometimes I'm the same. It's the same with Dota, right? Like, I got bored quick of a hero and I didn't do what you have to do, which is play the same hero again and again and again. I basically played a different hero of Dota every time, which is why I never really learned any of them well, right? And there was other reasons I was bad at Dota. But I guess what I'm trying to say is that people play games differently, and there's a lot of different games. There's much lighter games that are not as serious and are more luck-based, and then, you might well win those because they're not as deep and strategical. And then there's the 3-hour slog fests where, people, the human calculators are probably going to win them every time unless, you really, get your heels in and go on the Discord and talk about strategy. And it's different. They're different, right? You've got the whole spectrum of games to play. And I would just advise that you mix up your games, try new ones. A new game, everyone's on an equal playing field, right? So you're not going to lose every time. And also, it's a refreshing jaunt into a new world, right? Each of these new settings, like one day you're building trains, one day you're building cars, one day you're exploring a tomb. There's like different settings there to get into, and I think you should I know board games are expensive, but you can go to a board game cafe and try that.
Do you know what here's a tip for you. Here's one tip for you that I've noticed from people who do beat me a lot at games, is that you need to pick something and focus on that. So it's a bit like Civ. If you're going for a faith victory, commit to that. If you're playing and also look for stuff that scores decent points and is easy to get. Quite often these games will have very high value things that are actually not worth chasing because A, you might not get there, or B, you've put so much effort into this one thing, some guy that's just middling it up the whole time does better than you. An example would be this game I play called Agricola. Play that with my kids from time to time. You can get animals or you can get wheat.
Yeah.
And if you get wheat, you get the points real easy and you don't have to fuck about with the animals. They like the animals because they're cute. Get the wheat. Just realize early on, hang on a sec, there's a ton of value in wheat. I'm going to go for wheat. Just commit to something like that. That's what I did. Crush them. My wheat farm crushes them. I buy them up, I kick them out of their houses, and I kill all the animals. That's Agricola.
Right.
Nice.
Yeah. And I will say, along with Sips, sometimes it's nice to let someone else win for once,
Yeah, I do that all the time.
So don't feel bad. Everyone, I would avoid games where there's confrontation during the game. Have a finger on the pulse of whether or not you're having fun.
Yeah.
Right. During the game, because sometimes these games are like, oh, this guy's winning. Let's all gang up against him, and that feels bad.
Yeah,
it feels great.
So yeah, I think just be aware of gaming experiences where you in the middle of it, you're not having fun, because that means usually that the game is bad.
Yeah, like Monopoly.
Yeah, exactly like that. But Monopoly is supposed to be bad because it teaches you how bad monopolies are. Go fuck yourself.
It's a terrible game.
Go fuck yourself if you thought that.
The Monopoly's a terrible game.
Oh, Monopoly's bad because it teaches you it's supposed to be bad, so you have a bad experience because the capitalist system that we all live under is terribly. Do you know what I mean? Because Monopoly was originally designed to showcase the evils,
bad game
right?
design.
Exactly.
I want to make a correction to my previous statement about the tier thing being in the F tier. I'd like to move that up to D and then move the Monopoly conversation down to F for me in the tier list.
I agree.
All right, this is from Liam. This is inspired by episode 290, when Lewis mentioned his seasonal allergies making his eyelids stick together, which reminded me of my own experience. Twice in my life, I've had my eyes removed and put back in my head.
Good
There's
grief.
no way.
That
science does not
No,
exist.
you'll find out. I had strabismus surgery to correct my lazy eye, once at age 4 and again at age 18. They put me under general anesthesia, removed my eyes from their sockets, cut the muscles to realign them, stitched the sockets up, put the eyes back in. The reason to have this surgery is that with the eye being lazy, presumably very lazy, it could eventually lead to me becoming blind in that eye because my brain would lose the connection and just shut the eye off.
Oh,
so
really?
it's just like, fuck this eye, it's not working. This surgery sucked for many reasons. A constant itch behind your eyeballs that you could never scratch.
Oh,
Imagine that.
man.
Eye drops help, but not much. For months, I'd wake up with gunk gluing my eyes shut. I have to walk blind to the bathroom to wash it off. And the surgery corrected my eyes for about a month before they reverted, making it feel like a waste. The first time at 4 years old did make a big difference, however. After surgery, I looked like a zombie with bloody tear marks and completely red whites of my eyes due to the trauma.
Grief.
And because of the trauma, he now has a permanent yellow ring around his pupil, while the rest of his eye is green. This is common after eye surgery and most likely happened when I had it done the first time at 4. How about that? Liam!
Oh my God, man.
I'm so sorry.
That's really sucks the bag.
So I was just looking at, because I remember there was a famous actress who had strabismus, which Norma Shearer, her name was, right? And
Let me look her up. Norma
She was
Shearer.
like a kind of an actress from the golden age, you know, who sort of played. Her Wikipedia article says she played spunky, sexually liberated women.
Hell
she
yeah.
was
fit as.
She was a lovely looking lady, and there's this. I remember reading this before because it said Shearer risked some of her savings on a consultation with Dr. William Bates, a pioneer in the treatment of strabismus, like lazy eyes. And I was like, oh my God, what kind of horrible surgery did she undergo? You know? And he said he wrote out a series of muscle strengthening exercises that after many years of daily practice would help her successfully conceal her strabismus for long periods of time on the screen. So she was like,
she trained her eyes, basically.
She just basically would like strengthen or weaken the muscles until she could like keep her eyes straight. But it kind of looks quite nice with them like the wrong way anyway. I think that it's funny how the lazy eye looking outwards is quite frightening. It's quite like Frankensteinian, monstery, right? Like as always.
Apologies to anyone with a lazy eye. You do
God.
not look like Frankenstein's monster.
No, but it's more not that. No, but like more that the monsters have had these weird looks to them, right, to make them scary.
Frankenstein's monster didn't have a lazy eye.
Oh, it's such a trope, the lazy eye as the monster.
Man, this
right?
woman's sister's name is At-Hole. You imagine like you're playing outside. At-Hole! At-Hole, it's time to come in. Get that little At-Hole in here.
That's a name you don't hear anymore.
That is true.
The other name you don't hear anymore is Gay. That used to be a real popular name.
Gaylord Fokker.
Exactly.
And Martha Fokker, if you remember from the movies.
That name has
Someone
died.
was saying the last person to be called Gay was born in 1982.
We had a family friend. We had the couple that my parents were friends with. Their names were Pierre and Gay.
Oh wow, yeah. Pierre and Gay.
The woman's name was Gay.
Oh, that's not too. That's. I think we could bring it back. You know, have you thought about naming any of your kids
Pierre or Gay? No, I have not.
Yeah.
I was going to call one of them Gay Pierre.
Okay. I think that's just French though, so that's okay.
Gay Pierre.
Probably
Gay
means
Pierre.
something else. Oh, there you go.
We've had a lot of emails about funky names. We don't need unless you've got a real corker
like At-Hole.
Like At-Hole. But I want a list. Don't just give me one in like a 3-paragraph email. I don't need the setup. We just need the funny names. Just give us the punchline. Just give us the punchline.
Where does that name even come from? Like,
don't know. Someone was just being a real At-Hole one day, and the name stuck.
What an At-Hole!
Hey, little Triforce Mailbag admin. It's pyriumflax@gmail.com is the email address. Send them over. Please don't send huge emails because they're great. I read them. They're really good, but they're just too long, and it's difficult live while I'm recording to edit. So bring the volume down a little bit. Just be your own editor and think, do I need that paragraph? Probably not. Let's trim it down. And then keep them coming. Had some great emails lately.
I agree.
And we really appreciate it. So thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you so much. Appreciate it.
We love you
so much. Love you lots. Bye.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye-bye.